Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So I want to talk about Primaris. I'm not mad or anything, I'm just upset. I'm just disappointed, let's say. I'm very, very disappointed with the way Primaris have got things when it's come to the tabletop. Now I know a lot of you hate Primaris Marines, which is absolutely fine. I love Primaris Marines. I'm firmly in the camp that everything about Primaris is really, really cool. I love the look. Yep, some of the lore is a bit iffy, but all in all, I'm very, very happy with Primaris Marines. But in this video, I just wanted to discuss my hates and like something that I just, stuff which I really, really wish GW would get a hang of and just shake it and say, God damn it, GW, just fix this, please, because as a Primaris player, we're really, really hurting. So let's just jump in and let's get started. So I'm going to start with something I feel most strongly about, is that where in the Emperor's golden shiny balls are the Primaris transport vehicles. We have a repulsor battle tank, and it is a tank. So the problem with that is that when you deploy this thing and put chaps in the back of it, people look at it and go, okay, that is a tank, I need to kill that. And all the fire goes onto it. One of the best summaries of the repulsor tank is go and watch something called Pentagon Wars. It's basically how the Bradley fighting vehicle started as a transport and then more or less morphed into like a tank, but it wasn't a tank, it was a transport slash tank. And like one of the quotes from the designers is like, like when you deploy this on the battlefield, people are going to think this is a tank and they're going to shoot at it. And the guy's like, yeah, but it's a transport. It says, yeah, so what do you want me to do? Right, like, it's a transport all over it and not a tank. It looks like a tank. That is the main problem with the repulsor at the moment. And I've got this from experience playing on the tabletop. Every time I've took my repulsor, it's got so much DAC on it. It's got frag cannons. It's got, twin las cannons. It's got las cannons if you want the option. It's got, all the twin bolters, everything all over. It's just got so much DAC. It's basically like an orc tank. So people, like I said, look at it and go, right, that is priority. I need to take that down before that starts damaging me. Now, the problem with me is that this is my only transport vehicle. This is the only thing I've got to move my chaps from A to B in a safe manner. But the problem is, like I've just mentioned, is that it's basically just saying, shoot me, or I'm going to shoot you. So the player says, right, I'm taking this down. He takes it down first turn, he either destroys it or takes it down to the characteristics where it can hardly move or do anything, which is not really worth as a transport anymore. So I eventually just end up unloading my guys anyway on the tabletop and foot slogging it forward. And then that leads to the main problem that Primaris basically have to move on foot to go to objectives, and by the time they get to said objective, if it's across the board or you're more or less going into the enemy area to secure the objective, then by the time you get there you've probably lost most of your squad, and you can't really hold that objective as tactically as you should have if you basically could have drove like a proper transport up there, or maybe a flyer up there and just dropped them all off. That is a problem I'm finding with Primaris Marines at the moment. When the objectives that are in your area and you're deploying full squads around your objectives, they are fantastic. They are fantastic troops because they have the 2 wounds. So if you deploy like a squad of 10 of them, you're basically deploying a squad of 20 Marines. Now, you'll probably say to me, yeah, well, all you need to do then, Varak, is just mix it up with like mini Marines or, the original Marines and bring rhinos for them. But for someone like me who likes to make armies based on lore, I'm basing my army, my Primaris chapter, my Executioner chapter, on a pure Primaris chapter now. And that is from the lore. Obviously, it's not from the Executioner lore, but it's from the lore now that there is fully Primaris chapters out in the lore, which don't have any normal Marines about them at all. Now, we do actually have a flyer in the lore, but it's called an Overlord, and the way it's described in the Dark Imperium novel, it basically makes the Thunderhawk gunship look small. So if that ever gets made by, I would probably say, Forge World, then it's probably going to be Stormbird size, and it's probably going to be Stormbird cost as well, and that's probably not even an option for like 90% of tabletop players. Plus, I'm sure it would be like just amazingly expensive when it comes to like points or anything like that. So I think that's off the table for most people as well. Now, one of the things I was really, really rubbing my hands together, seeing all this like Deathwatch stuff about the mixed squads and stuff, I thought that was amazing from GW. I really, really like that, where you can put Hellblasters in, Aggressors in, get all these different stats and stuff. I thought that those were bang on amazing tactics, and I was like, okay, maybe this is where we get our transport now, because the Deathwatch has something called the Corvus Blackstar, which is a flyer, and it's probably one of the best flyers GW have ever made. I really, really like the look of it. I think it's a great looking flyer, and I was like, okay, maybe this is where we get to see Primaris go to another level, and we can use this Corvus Blackstar as a flyer, as a transport now, because the thing can, if I'm not mistaken, it can transport up to 2 bikes and like 1 Terminator or something like that. So I thought, surely if it can take bikes, if it can take a Terminator, it can fit a 5 intercessors in or something like that. Just something I can just get at least 5 guys up the field with and just deploy them in a tactical objective very, very fast. And the rules have come out these past couple of days from some YouTube channels. I'm trying to remember what YouTube channel I saw it off now. I think it was Strike and Scorpion, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, so the rules come out, and no, you can't take Primaris in it. So, swing and a miss. So, there is another flyer, which is completely out of the works now for Primaris. The normal Marines can take it. You can put bikes in it. You can put the Terminator in it. But you can't put Primaris in it. And it is a complete head scratcher for me. The only logical conclusion I can come to, if that it's business related. And now this, again, this is all me. This is not being mentioned anywhere. But I personally think Primaris are going to be getting their own codex within like the next 12 months, let's say. And the reason I say that is that at the moment the range is just not strong enough to support itself on its own. Now again, you can come back on me and say, well, Valrak, you're supposed to be mixing these with the normal Marines and stuff like that. But the problem I see in that is that the law states now that Primaris are having their own chapters, pure Primaris chapters. I think it's called the Ultima Founding, if I'm not mistaken. So that puts in perspective of me that, alright, if these chaps are deploying as a full Primaris force, then what are they actually using for transports? Is it just overlords? They're just deploying overlords everywhere? Is it just repulsor tanks they're just using? Surely, as a full chapter deploying somewhere, you've got to be making the best out of your strategic value and, using like rhinos or something like that. You don't be sending, battle tanks into, back and forth from the lines just to transport people in and stuff like that. It really, really doesn't make sense. So this is why I think GW are going to be releasing a Primaris Codex, and in that Codex we're going to basically have stuff like Primaris Rhinos, maybe a more moderate kind of flyer where you can transport Primaris stuff. To go with that, I definitely think there's going to be more characters introduced, because at the moment Primaris have no characters at all. And this goes back to the Deathwatch as well, and this is a subject I actually forgot to speak about, is that we don't have any what's it called, Watchmasters. Oh, what's it called now? Are they called Watchmasters? The top guys. Now you can say to me, well, it's because they're too inexperienced, but again, I'm going to come back to the same argument and saying, well, they have chapter masters who are leading these pure Primaris chapters. Why can't one step up and be like a watch captain or a watch master? I'm sorry, the name's completely slipped out of my head. So again, I'm a bit confused about no Primaris characters at all. Of course, we've got stuff like the Gravis captain in armor. We've got the lieutenants and all that kind of stuff. We've got like the librarian models, the chaplain models, but there's no proper lore characters like like Mephiston, characters like that really stand out in the Primaris range. So that makes me believe that Primaris will definitely be getting their own codex, and with it we'll see in an introduction of these characters. We'll see an introduction of new vehicles, more units, and when I say more units, I mean units like for example, we have the Hellblasters, which are very, very good at anti-tank, but where are the Primaris units with last cannons, with grav guns, melee units for Primaris now? Melee units, we have hardly any melee units. We've just got the aggressors with the power fists and stuff like that. Where's all the lightning claws? Where's the thunder hammers? Where's the storm shields? Where are all these options? The power axes and stuff like that. We've got power swords. I think Blood Angels can take can a sergeant take a chainsaw or something? But where are all these options for the Primaris Marines? It doesn't really make sense at the moment, and again, this leads me back to the conclusion that Primaris will get their own codex, and with it, we'll be starting to see all these options added to the Primaris Marines. Now, the only problem with that is, what does that mean for the normal Marines? Because they do have a fantastic range. I don't really want to see normal Marines disappear from the lore or anything like that. I'm not one of those kind of players where it's like, okay, Primaris are here, be gone, you little men of the Emperor. I want those chaps to stay around, but if we do get a Primaris codex, the question is that will GW eventually start to discontinue Primaris then? Because it doesn't really make sense to have 2 Space Marine codexes, if that makes sense. Of course, we have the Deathwatch codex, but that's a complete different kettle of fish. But I'm talking about, 2 forces which are basically doing the same thing. They're run the same. You know, some of them tend to follow the Codex Astartes and stuff like that. I can't really see them splitting that in half and saying, okay, you Primaris have this one, and you small marines have that one. I just really can't see that, and the concern for me is that they'll just end up phasing out the mini guys, and I'm sure that will probably, if that does come to pass, and I'm hoping it doesn't, but if it did come to pass, I'm sure that would bring a lot of drama on the interwebs and, you know, all the social media feeds. There's so many of you chaps who have got like massive armies just full and stuff. So this is the kind of thing I'm looking at, thinking surely GW can't really do that. But then again, they did smite Warhammer Fantasy, so who knows what can GW unleash upon us. And on that note, I think I'm going to just end the video there. Yeah, all I want is transports. Please, GW. That's it. Just give me a cheap transport. It doesn't have to be cheap. It can be, you know, like mid price, but not like pricey as like the Repulsor. The points cost on that thing is just not worth it for, you know, the transport cost. Give me something a bit cheaper where I can, it's, you know, it's just a pure transport. I don't want all guns over it. I just want to get my guys from A to B in the most fashionably manner possible, in the most safe way possible, and just deploy them and bring the pain. That's all I want at the end of the day. So please, 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 if you could, try and make this happen. If you're a Primaris fanboy like myself, tell me what you think. If you hate Primaris, then I'm sure you're going to tell me what you think and how much you hate Primaris in the comment section anyway. But what do you think? Do you think I've got legitimate concerns? Do you think I'm talking out my my shiny golden bum? Tell me what you think in the comment section. We can have a nice healthy discussion about it down there. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I shall see you all chaps very, very soon. See you now, and bye-bye.